Well. Hello, Nick. Hey, how are you? Thank you for joining. Hit that thumbs up, y'all. Hey, Katie with a baby. Thank you so much. It's so crazy because I see Nick all the time on Facebook. In my Facebook groups or my Facebook comments. He always supported, always commented, but I don't know. I said, come on over to the YouTube world. So that's why I was the first thing I saw, I was like, oh my God, he did come over. Thank you so much for supporting. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for supporting. I really do appreciate y'all, and I appreciate your loyalty and your realness because that's really the key for me. That hits the bone for me. That's the heart for me. You know what I mean? And supporting the victims and their families is really where it's at. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Now we go back to back today. Hey Megan. Yes, I heard. Yes. I'm gonna do that tomorrow, actually. Ooh, I'm gonna do that with a few other cases tomorrow. Um, Megan. Yes. Amen. 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 She got justice. Yes. I know we missed a few trial. We was up to what, day 5, and then I had to do some other cases. So I slid back a little bit, but at least we can do what happened yesterday and then look over what her mother said and how her mother feels about it. So I'll do the thumbnail tonight and get the time and stuff ready, and then we could do that for tomorrow with some other cases that I have. Okay. Okay. I have a very sad case right now. Oh, all the cases are sad. All the cases are traumatic. If you think you see one sad case, honey, you'll see another worse sad case than that. When we saw Little Harmony um, uh, case, Adam Montgomery's case, and we was like, oh my God, it can't get any worse than that, right, y'all? And then when I showed them another case, it was like, oh my, woof. When I told, no, I didn't show y'all yet, actually. I told y'all about the other case. And then y'all was like, oh, some of y'all heard about it, but wait till we see this. It's just like, it just gets worse and worse, right? Very sad, Nick. Yes. Well, this is another sad case, another dramatic sad case. Um, and we're going to do two of them back to back. So right now we're gonna do this one, and then this ends at 8:30, and we're going straight into the next one. So Nick, don't go nowhere, okay? Stay here with me, okay? You guys don't have to go nowhere because I didn't set it up where it goes straight through. Fuck, but that's okay. Just don't go nowhere. Just stay. You know. Well, no, I didn't set it up how it goes straight through. But yeah, it's like then I have another one going, another case at 8:30. So let's get into this. A mother by the name of Mariah Thomas from Kansas City decided she didn't need a crib no more. I was gonna say a crab. She didn't need a crib. All she needed was an oven. She decided to take a nap, right? In her bed where she feels comfortable. See, she knows where to lay her head at night. She knows that when you lay your head down, you go into a bed, right? She knows these things. But for some reason, her mind went through the opposite transaction when she went to lay her child down. She decided, I don't need a crib. I don't need a bassinet. I don't even need a little drawer. You know, back in the days, we had the little drawer where you can even put your baby in the drawer, put some blankets and stuff. Shit, I did. Some blankets when you got it rough. No. She put her baby in the oven. She put her baby in the oven. And we're going to look at the news coverage about what it said, and then we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. The story went. Now, I remind you, I'm kind of disgusted about this because this happened, 10 days ago? Shout out to Kathy B for giving me this. And there's not much on it. There's news report about little here, but there's not really a big case on it. So I'm kind of disgusted about that too. Not another piece of human garbage in my state. We don't claim her. Megan ain't playing today and she got time today. I know that's right, girl. Well, Megan, let's see what they say, honey. Hey, Cynthia. It's Cynthia in the building, y'all. She's our new Brooklyn Squad sub. She came on yesterday. And she had her notification on. That's what I'm talking about. So, Cynthia, real quick. Kansas woman Mariah Thomas decided she don't need a crib no more or a bassinet, right? But she know where to lay her head down when she want to take a nap. But she decided to put her baby in the oven. Yeah, let's look at what the news say. But don't go nowhere, Cynthia, because I got another case right after this.
Woman made her first court appearance today after Jackson County prosecutors charged her in connection with her baby's death.
Last Friday, Kansas City police investigated the suspicious death at a home near East 41st and Forest. Fox 4's Lexi French explains what we know so far about the case.
Hey, CJ, the
Kansas City
author.
mother has been charged for allegedly causing the death of her 1-month-old child. Mariah Thomas faces a Class A felony of endangering the welfare of a child, causing the child's death. Thomas was in court today for her first appearance. Mariah Thomas's bond is set at $200,000. Her bond review hearing is set for February 20th. The conditions of her bond include no contact with children, medication compliance, and she must complete a mental evaluation. Kansas City police responded to a house near East 41st Street and Forest Avenue on Friday. At the scene, first responders noticed the baby was badly burned. Prosecutors say police were told the mother, Mariah Thomas, was putting her child down for a nap and accidentally placed the child in the oven instead of the crib. This is one of multiple cases in the last 2 years where a child was killed in Kansas City. The endangerment charge against Thomas comes weeks after Corinne O'Connor was also charged with child endangerment, resulting in the death of her 5-year-old son, Grayson O'Connor. He fell to his death from an apartment building.
I would encourage our community is just to be aware of what's going on around them. And if you have a concern about the safety of a child, potential abuse or neglect, that you report that to the authorities so that they can investigate and evaluate kind of what's the best next step for those children who might be under those circumstances.
Natalie Julian, the president and CEO of CASA of Johnson and Wyandotte counties, works with children in foster care after experiencing neglect in abusive or unsafe situations.
We figure out kind of what's going on, how we can help and provide resources and support for those children so that they are able to find safe, loving homes in whatever way that makes sense for them.
Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker thanked first responders who worked the scene near 41st and Forest, saying her office acknowledges the gruesome nature of this tragedy, and our hearts are weighted by the loss of this precious life. We trust the criminal justice system to respond appropriately to these awful circumstances. In Kansas City, Lexi French, Fox 4, working for you.
Recordings just got better.
Did I know, Nick? Horrible. Hurtful, horrible, and makes you mad as hell. Hey, now I'm surprised that there is not a lot on this case. Why is there not a lot of story on this? This has been over a week. Excuse me. This is crazy. This has been over a week and there is not a lot on this at all. Now, there's news coverage and it's not much, but I would have thought a baby being put in the oven, you would have much more to say. A conference, something. So I don't know, something to say about her psycho ass. But I found some people that did have something to say. And I want y'all to listen to this. Let me find it. Hold on. Oh, wait, damn. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, boy. Let me see if this is it. I don't know if this is it. Hold on. That's not it, but um, damn. I saw something really, really interesting and I was like, oh wow, I really think they should take a look at that. Oh, I think this is it. Yes, I found it. They was talking about this. Here we go.
1-month-old baby by placing her in the oven. Terrible. Stephanie, fill us in on the details, please.
So the details are still pretty sparse, but I wanted to talk about this case today because I think it's been a representation of what I've seen in the news as far as crimes go. And that is this pattern of it feels like so many people are committing these violent crimes, not against strangers, not even for some financial motive like we've seen in the past. It seems like people are lashing out violently against their own family members. You have many stories of parents, and honestly, I'm scrolling through, and it was very disheartening for me. I mean, my patrons can attest to this. That last week when I was looking at these cases, I got very upset because it's just one case after another. Parent kills child, child kills parent, brother attacking brother, things like that, and it's just a very, I think, sad representation of where we are as a society right now, where there's so much anger, so much chaos that people are now lashing out and harming those closest to them. And in this case with Mariah Thomas, she says she placed her child in the oven accidentally, which obviously we don't believe that. So according to the probable cause affidavit, Thomas told her grandfather that she accidentally placed the baby in her oven because she thought she was putting her baby down for a nap in the crib. So instead of putting this 1-month-old baby in the crib, she put her in the oven and then turned it on. And so we're supposed to believe that she actually mistook the oven for the crib. The baby girl was reportedly found in her car seat near the front door when police arrived, and the affidavit said she had sustained apparent thermal injuries on various parts of her body, and her clothing appeared to have melted onto her diaper. Obviously, this 1-month-old baby did not survive. Investigators also located a baby blanket with significant burn marks, and it was the grandfather who called 911, not the mother, Mariah. And Mariah Thomas was arrested and charged with first-degree endangering the welfare of a child and death of a child. So a judge has set a $200,000 cash bond for Thomas, and she's not allowed to have any contact with witnesses in this case if she does post bond. The judge also ordered her to take any medication as prescribed and complete a mental health evaluation. So I'm not sure if this judge is referring to previous prescriptions Mariah Thomas has been on, or if Mariah's getting some mental health help while she's in custody. And
First of all, let me just say this. Accidentally? No. Exactly, Katie. This ain't no accidentally shit. I wouldn't even give her bond, especially that low. I wouldn't give her bond at all. I would deny her bond. That's insane. Hello, what's that checked? Okay.
and they're going to prescribe her medication at that point. This little sentence from a recent news story has kind of given me an indication that this woman, Mariah Thomas, is going to try and plead, not guilty by reason of mental insanity or something like that. She may try to go the postpartum or PPD route.
Postpartum psychosis, maybe
Postpartum psychosis. But
Right.
at this point, it's like, I wouldn't buy that. I would not buy that, because you put your baby in an oven and then turn the oven on, or you turn the oven on and then put your baby in the oven. And then you sat there in the house while your child died in the most inarguably, I think, horrific way possible. The most horrific way possible. This was not quick. This was not painless. This was torture for this 1-month-old baby girl. So I hope I'm not being too controversial by saying that I hope Miss Mariah Thomas fries. Like, where is it? Kansas City? I don't know what their death penalty situation is like, but I wouldn't mind seeing her hit the electric chair and get a little taste of her own medicine, to be honest. Can I say that? I don't know, but I just did. I don't know how you feel about it.
So
I'm with you, sis.
I could see a world. I don't just say the opposite just to say the opposite. I mean, I could see a world where this is a case of postpartum psychosis. We've talked about other cases in the past where there appeared to be more premeditation that went into the whole situation before.
Well, we don't know what any of the details yet. It's just happened.
Well, that's
so
why
there
I'm
could
saying
be.
it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it. We don't know. So it's one of those things where, not knowing the circumstances leading up to the event, I could see a world where this turns out to be a case of postpartum psychosis. But to make it more broad, the world's in a bad place. The world's in a bad place. Globally, we got multiple wars going on. More here in the home front. We got just a country economically that's completely screwed up. There's a lot of divisiveness amongst the country as far as on different issues, socially, politically. We have a border crisis. We have just a lot of things going on. And whenever you turn on the news, all you do is hear about bad things. I mean, we just had the Super Bowl champions. It's, the irony of talking about Kansas City, just had a parade where you have a mass shooting at this celebratory event because a couple idiots decided to make it about themselves. And the reason I bring all of that up is to say we definitely have a mental health crisis in this country as well. And I think a lot of those issues that people are experiencing are being compounded by them turning on the news and seeing nothing but bad things. I think it just really puts even the strongest minded people in a bad headspace.
I agree. It put me in a terrible headspace last week. I wrote to my Patreons because I was going to do a coffee and crime time, which is usually current cases. And I said, I can't do this right now. I'm going to read to you right now. I'm scrolling through. Illinois father sentenced for fatally drowning 3 young children as retaliation against their mom.
What?
Man arrested for allegedly fatally shooting newlyweds during robbery. Mom who jumped onto Ohio train tracks after twins were found dead in car arrested. Tennessee man served life in prison for killing girlfriend's 2-year-old. Missing 5-year-old boy's body found in sewer drain near Cleveland. His foster mother took him. Idaho man gets life for killing and nearly decapitating his mother. And there's just one after another, a lot having to do with parents killing kids, honestly. Yeah. And 8-year-old boy in Virginia in coma after being shot in the head while playing video games. This is horrible. And I told my patrons, I said, I have to pick an older case right now to do next because literally mentally, I felt so crushed that I was in a state of freeze for an hour. I just kind of sat at my desk and I was like, I can't do anything right now. We do this stuff all the time. Right. So when that,
hold on, let me just finish.
What happens to me, it's a sign to me of like, this isn't just me perceiving things to be extra bad right now. They are extra bad right now.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I cover stuff all the time. And it just feels like it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse out here in this world. And like she said, she's not perceiving it. It's really, really getting worse. Yes, this world is insane, Katie. And it's really sad. It really is. No one's sticking together no more. There's no unity. There's a lot of drama, a lot of sneak shit. It's insane. It's a fucking shame.
They are. And if you're already going into it in a bad space and then you read everything going on around you and it's bad after bad after bad, I do think it can exacerbate a bad issue already and really make you wonder, like, why am I here? Why am I here? Or maybe
what's the point?
Should I have children here in this world? I don't know what was going on in her head at the time of this incident, but I think overall what you're saying here, not necessarily this specific case, but more importantly, the news that you're seeing, like you just said, scrolling page after page, hearing about these different types of crimes specifically against their own children. And you ask yourself, why is this happening? And by no means are we going to have those answers.
Well, I think I have psychologically in times of very strong chaos and despondence, when people feel out of control of their lives, which I can safely say, I mean, I feel often during the day, and I'm like, what am I don't feel like I make any decisions, that actually everything's decided for me based on my schedule and based on what I have to do. And I'm starting to feel, and that's why I stay up late, right? Psychologically, if you stay up later than you should, it's because you're trying to almost gain back some control that you lost during your waking hours during the day. So psychologically, when people feel like they do not any longer have control over their situations, over their future, they lose hope. And what they will do is they'll strike out at those who are weaker than them, those who have less control and less power. And it gives them a sense of being back in control again and having some sort of power. And it's like in this angry lashing out thing at somebody who's smaller and weaker than you. And that's the same thing with bullies. That's why bullies do it. Hurt people, that kind of thing. So I understand why in these times where people are struggling to pay their bills, when people can't find jobs, when people are consistently just angry with each other. I can't even go out without somebody getting in a fight at a store or being rude to a cashier or yelling at a waitress or something like that. It just feels like everybody's angry, and it feels like the pot's boiling and it's about to boil over. So what do you suggest when people are feeling this way? How do you suggest that they kind of cope with it and stay in the moment so that they do not do something like this or something not even as bad as this, but just yelling at people, road rage, getting into, fights in public. How do you suggest that they kind of cope with what is happening in the world and not let it bleed into their own personal lives as much as they can?
Jesus. That's deep. I don't know. I mean, I think for every person it's different. I think the underlying issue here is, like I said, I think there's a lot of people who are experiencing some type of mental health
Megan, right, Kathy B.
crisis, and their own, like their own issues that they're trying to cope with. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm a psychologist or a psychiatrist and I have those answers. I have my own things. I wrote about a lot of this in my book when I was talking about some of the traumatic things that I went through and how I got through them. More surface level, what I will say, and it's related to these road rage incidents that we see that result in death and things like that. What I have found, specifically with things like social media, all those different situations, is when you have this impulsivity to react, what I would recommend doing, and this is exactly what I wrote about in my book, and I can't take credit for it because I got it from the guy that I was seeing at the time, Richard Crino, who was a police therapist or psychologist. He kind of worked with me on some things, was to take a walk or take just a pause and wait about 5 or 10 minutes before saying or doing what you initially thought was the right thing to do. And as you sit there, at least what I have found is, as you sit there and think about it, you start to think about the potential ramifications of your actions, because you got nothing but time. You want to just get it out, but you're waiting, and now you're thinking, okay, well, if I say it, they're probably going to do this, or they're probably going to do that. Well, what happens if they do this? What happens if they do that? And by the time that 5 minutes is over, 10 minutes is over, a lot of what you were feeling has dissipated. And you no longer feel that urge to react the way you were planning on reacting, whether that's saying something or doing something. And even like for a road rage incident, I would always recommend, don't do it. It's just not worth it. We see all the time now where you don't know who you're interacting with. They could have a weapon on them. And is someone cutting you off and respond?
Oh, first of all, road rage is nothing to play with. Okay? I'll be telling Dave, shut your mouth and keep on driving. Okay? Because you don't know what this other person got in the car. Don't middle finger up it and don't do none of that bullshit. Just, keep it moving. Just keep it moving. Because you never know. People do the most insane, craziest things these days. I saw in the news where a woman had her child in the car. I think I covered this. She had her child. Yeah, I did cover it. She had her child in the car. And this lady hunted her down with her car until she got close enough to shoot her in her freaking face. Insane. With her baby in the car. Like, come on. That shit don't make no sense.
Responding to them really worth your life? Obviously, the answer is no. Emphatically no. So I would just say, in general, we all just have to step back, take a deep breath. And I feel like being grateful for the position you're in and acknowledging that not everything's going to be perfect ever. And it's not about trying to solve every single problem that you're dealing with immediately that day. It's about taking them as they come. And as cliche as the statement sounds, just putting one foot in front of the other, day by day. We're all going through it. And I think that should actually bring us more together, understanding that we're all going through our own battles, mentally, personally, financially, and then obviously socially. We all have the same fears.
Okay.
A lot of you guys come and watch us or listen to us and think, I hate to say it, but like, your entertainment for the day. And I think sometimes, especially when you guys meet us at CrimeCon, it's like, oh, I can't believe like I'm meeting you. And it's like, we're just like you. The only difference is our job entails sitting in front of a camera and talking about it with other people watching. But Stephanie and I have the same issues and same problems that you guys have. And we have maybe in some cases more.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like I have.
As Stephanie's sitting here playing with like a stress ball / putty to try to control her anxiety. I mean, we're
So that's
definitely
what I was
going
gonna-
through it, folks.
That's what I was
need.
gonna
I
say.
used to
Like
have
you
one.
said, this should bring us all closer together, right? And that's one of the main problems is that we no longer even hang out with people in person, right? So something that I have really come to understand is the difference between like when you and I were young, because we're both 40, you know, let's just say
Ugh,
we're 40. Ugh, I know
yeah.
it's disgusting. I hate it. We're 40. We just turned 40 this month. And I remember a time when things were so much simpler, and that was before smartphones. You know, you'd wake up and you'd hang out with your friends in person and you'd play, you know, you could even play video games or computer games with your friends, but you'd be with them in person doing it. You'd go to the mall together. You'd go driving together. You'd go out to eat together. And you were outside. Now we all sit in our houses, put on headphones or VR goggles, and we play with our friends this way, but we're alone. We don't necessarily feel alone, but in general, we are alone. We're not connecting on a human level. We're not having those experiences that we would have if we're like actively hanging out with other humans on a day-to-day basis. We don't get enough sun because everyone's inside. We don't go out. You know, we have DoorDash, brings us our food. Everything gets delivered to us. We don't have to go out. We don't have to interact with people. And at the end of the day, yeah, that's causing a big thing. Our faces are constantly in our phone. And if we don't think that our faces constantly being in our phones is affecting our mental health, then we have another thing coming, because I guarantee you down the road, I don't know how long, but they're going to put out studies that are like, oh, why did this whole entire generation of people just suddenly develop depression and anxiety and, you know, and all of a sudden it's like on the rise. Yes, it has a lot to do with how the world is, but the world's been bad before. Look at World War II. You know, you think people were running around happy then, but right now, not only do we have everything going on, but we have what we consider to be an escape in our cell phone. But is it an escape or is it another prison? And that's what I want you to ask yourselves today.
Boom, mic drop. Yeah,
go outside, get some sun. Go outside, get some sun.
Go outside, get some sun, and just remember, we're all going through it. We're all going through it together, and
it's hard. It's hard.
Find someone you can talk to about it, or just be here with us, and we're telling you right now to your faces and to your, if you're listening, to your ears, we're going through it too. We're concerned about the same things that you guys are concerned about. We're looking at the world around us, and even close to home, our backyards, and we have children and we're parents, and we have the same fears that you have.
It's like saying rappers, artists, musicians, models, content creators, you're all human. People think because celebrities, let's say, right, are celebrities and they're rich and famous, I think they have it worse than a lot of us because of that. You know what I'm saying? But they are human just like us. You know, we all are going through a battle. And it seems like this world is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And people are just being separated. They're pulling each other. They're not coming together a lot. You know, it's like they're being separated. And that's a sad thing. You know, in some cases that I'm working, only a few towns I've seen come together, which is a blessing. Hey, Michelle Theme, a female put her baby in the microwave in daytime. Really? See? It be these, I don't know, it's crazy. And that happened in Dayton, Ohio? I have to look at that. Thank you. Welcome to Brooklyn Squad. I spend times outside of the lake with my children. That's a beautiful thing too. Going to the lake and stuff. That's a beautiful thing. Yes, just spending time with your family. I wish I had moments like that. I wish I knew my family, my biological family, where I can do those things. You know what I mean? Those special moments and stuff, you know? Those, that you can look back. Michelle, thank you for joining. I really appreciate this.
Each and every day. I mean, just the other day they were talking about this new potential threat from space with Russia and nuclear weapons that could take out our satellites and kill. It's always something. So worry about the things you can control
We
and
are
put the things
family
that you
here.
can't
Yes,
aside,
Nick.
because
We sure are.
creating this level of anxiety
Especially
about
on my
something that you
platform.
can't change, it's not really worth it.
Wow.
It's not worth it. And all it's going to do is stress you out,
Right.
and it's going to bleed over into other areas of your life. So
And that's what you were talking about earlier, perspective, right?
yeah,
Be thankful for what you have. And that's like
Hospital.
whatever, but it's just perspective, which is like, I cannot change the world, but in this small circle of my family, my friends, my community, I can make a positive change, and that's going to have to be enough. And I can do that by being nice to people, being kind to people,
Right.
volunteering if I can, making sure that the people in my life have everything that they need. And that's going to make you feel good. But it is about perspective, being in the moment, which is incredibly hard for me. And I do scroll past those. I saw something about the Russia thing. I saw like there's a meteor that's supposed to hit soon or something. And
wait,
then there's
what? I
like,
don't even want to know, actually.
yeah, and then they're talking about like China and Russia have like these bombs that can like disturb like our electronics and stuff, and they're just gonna like shut down the power grid.
Down,
and every time like you're watching it and you're like, oh, this is interesting, I should know this stuff, but at the same time you can feel like your heart rate go up, and you're having a physiological reaction as well as a psychological reaction. So sometimes if you're in a certain like frail state, and it's okay to be in a frail state mentally, 2023 has been the hardest year of my life as far as like a personal and like mental health level. It can't get worse, I feel. That's what I have to say. It can only go up. I have to do things, and I have to figure out ways to not allow myself to spiral down. And I guess what we want to tell you though is it's going to be okay no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And
you guys
kind
are
of
doing a
bring
great
this back
job.
full circle, because we kind of went off there, but I think it's important that we did. Mariah Thomas, my final words on her is, if there's any proof whatsoever that she was in the right mind state and that this was a conscious decision, what you said earlier, I don't think I need to say it again. I'm on board with you. I feel the exact same way. If we find that there's
you mean the death penalty, because Missouri is one of the handful of states that has consistently executed people in the last 5 years. So
I know some people don't
got
believe
it.
in the death penalty. I do. I think
For
you do
this, if you purposely put a 1-month-old baby in the oven and turned it on, and there was no, and you have no evidence or proof that it was like a psychological thing and she had no control over herself.
It'd
If
have
she
to be a slam
actively
dunk.
and consciously put that baby in the oven and let it burn to death and tortured it like that, then yes, you do not deserve to live. And honestly, doing something like that, I feel like you kind of knew that already, right? Like,
I mean, it's
how can you do something like that and live with yourself? I don't even understand. I could never.
I think what it comes back to is most people listening or watching this are going to say, how could someone under the right mind frame do something like this? There has to be something wrong. And on the surface, I would agree with you. We'll have to let it see how it plays out. I'm sure there's going to be defense for her, as there should be, and we'll see what the court decides.
Remember back in the day, like the days of like Casey Anthony and stuff, nobody was like, oh, there has to be something wrong with Casey for her to do that to her child. I know she's not guilty and whatever, but like all of a sudden, is this happening more because so many people are using mental illness as an excuse for why they did it and they're getting off? That's the question I would like to know. Because we can't excuse every time somebody kills their child and say like, oh, they must not be right in the head. I mean, obviously, but not being right in your head doesn't mean that you're like clinically and legally insane. So there's days I'm not right in the head. I'm not like putting babies in ovens.
No, I definitely think we have a serious issue on our hands. And I think it's why we've seen such an increase in the mass shootings and these types of crimes. I think there's a serious problem right now. I don't have the solutions for it. I think we just need to have better programs and resources available for people so that they can get the help they need, because it's out of control. It's really out of control right now. And as parents, I think it's a scary time. It's a scary time to be in it. But as Stephanie said, we will get through this. We always do. Any final words, Stephanie?
No, it is just that we will get through this. All of you out there listening will get through it. And it feels hard, but you're not alone. and we all are kind of on the same page. We're all relating, and talk about it in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube. You know, our community and us will be here to support you, to listen, to talk, and to just, even if we can't say anything productive, we can just say, yeah, we completely feel that. Like, just having the understanding that somebody else understands what you're going through can help sometimes. So
that's right.
Agreed.
Just hang in there.
Agreed. Hang in there, guys. We appreciate you being here. Stay safe out there. We will see you later this week with a new case, and I'm not going to spoil it right now, but it'll be coming out on Friday for audio,
Highly
Sunday
requested.
for YouTube.
All right. That was really, really good. I'm actually gonna put their link down below. Crime News Weekly. China Arnold bond was 1 million. Woo, yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. The baby had to be screaming and you didn't hear the baby? Right. She said, that baby, poor baby. Where is it? 1 million. Oh my God. She had to be screaming. I don't know why they give bonds to them. I mean, you don't have to give a bond, right? Forget the bond. After what she did to that baby, I would listen, man. I would not give her a bond, period. No. Why? Let her rot. Just like she let that baby rot like that. That's insane.
No matter who you are, there are times it can be tough to be yourself when you
I
have
just don't
severe asthma.
understand.
Now, moving on to more news from around the world, a horrific incident in the Kansas City has sent shockwaves across the United
Just in
States.
case I missed
Where
it.
a mother mistakenly put her 1-month-old infant in an oven for a nap, and the baby died. The accused mother, Maria Thomas, has been charged with endangering the child's welfare by the court of law, and the charges were announced by the court on February 10th. The Kansas City police officials reached the crime scene after this horrific incident was reported on February 9th at 1:30 p.m. local time. And according to the document that was filed in the court, Maria told her grandfather that she thought she put the child in her crib and she accidentally put her in the oven. Her grandfather mentioned this to the city police officials, and notably, the court's records do not show if Thomas has an attorney representing her, and if convicted, Thomas could face life imprisonment of 10 years, and this is according to the Missouri state law.
No, that's it? Okay. Well, if they want my opinion, I say drop the bond. Don't give the chick no bond, because she obviously did not care about that baby, of what she did. Also, I have an announcement because it's pinned up. Jarek Holder. If you look on in the comments and it's pinned up, there is a GoFundMe. Any little thing, any little thing you can give. Any little thing you can give. Jarek's mother name is Miss Ashley Denise. And I interviewed her last weekend. her son case, if you think this, well, this is a shock right there, but a lot of cases will blow your mind. And her son's case is very, very, very confusing. Not confusing, it's corruption. That's the word I'm looking for. Corruption. Her son was killed. She got a phone call saying her son and another guy shot each other. His ankle monitor was removed and the bullet fragment was gone. That cannot happen because these kids wasn't even in the same room together. So how do they even shoot each other? So we do believe that the police was involved in this. We do believe that the police shot both of these young boys. She wants to take his body out and do another autopsy. To do that, you need money. Any little bit counts. Any little bit, $1, $2. She's going to be grateful for whatever you can send. I'm sure. And if you want to check the interview out, go down to my playlist and you can look at, or I have all my playlists in sections. So it would be interview with parents of unsolved. Very sad case. Because you not only have her son that was killed, but there was another young boy that was killed also. But his mother isn't speaking out because she was threatened. And she's scared. So we don't know who the mother is, but I wish she would speak out and kind of get together with Miss Ashley Denise, because that's the other piece to the puzzle, and she's going to need that parent. Miss Ashley Denise was also threatened. She was shot at. They are after her. She has a target on her back because she is now speaking out for her son. She is her son's voice. Just like I am the victim's voices on my platform, she's her son's voice. So please, any little bit counts. I understand some days could be overwhelming, but to hurt a baby that can't defend themselves. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say something about that too. I know Nick said, maybe she was overwhelmed. A lot of people are overwhelmed. A lot of people are suffering with depression, PTSD, a lot of things. But you don't go around and do the shit that a lot of people are doing today. Especially put your baby in a damn crib. I mean, put your baby in the crib. I'm sorry. She should have put up, I was reading what Katie wrote. Put your baby in the oven. You know what I mean? That's what you don't do. And I don't feel like she didn't know what she was doing, because she turned on the stove. She turned on the stove. So she knew how to turn on the stove. She knew how to open the door, the oven door. She knew how to put her baby in. The real question is, does she actually have a crib? I don't know. Even if she had a drawer, back in the days, I didn't have a crib. When I was a young teenager, when I was 17, I didn't have a crib. I was homeless, living in the city with some other teenagers. I had a drawer and I put blankets inside, a whole bunch of blankets inside of it, and blankets around it, and made it a crib. So if you from the city, then you know what I'm talking about. Or if you never had much, then you know what I'm talking about. If you grew up like I grew up and you ain't have shit, then you know what I'm talking about. Um, Katie, let me see. Right, Nicholas. He telling the truth. What happened? What Nicholas saying? Oops. I missed it. I'm sorry, Nicholas. I missed what you were saying. Make special moments with family is so important. I wish I had that. I don't know what he said. What you said, Nick? Everyone is entitled. No bond. Oh, everyone is entitled to one, unfortunately. What a bond. They are, right? Does that look like a face of someone remorseful for unaliving their child? Megan just be coming out. You're right, Megan. It was intentional, Kathy B says. The baby was crying in pain. No way that baby didn't cry out. And not only that, let's not forget, she didn't call the cops. Someone else called the cops in the ambulance. Yeah. She didn't even call the damn cops or the ambulance, y'all. Somebody else called the cops and the ambulance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn. Why? Because she was waiting for that little baby probably to never ever get the help that he need. And that's a shame. My God. Right, that's what I'm saying, Nicholas. If she get bond, she gonna do the same thing. Why they keep making bond for these people? She gonna do the same thing to somebody else. Somebody else's poor baby. She committed this. Keep her behind bars. She's a monster to me. Nah, that monster is a little too sweet for her. She's something. If y'all think this is something, wait till y'all hear the next story. I'm telling y'all. And I only found out. Oh, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until. And this is gonna be this next one, baby. When I tell you, who got the stress ball? Megan, you got your stress ball? Cause you're gonna need it. I ain't got one. I need to buy one. Cause I don't got a punching bag. So whoever got a something to a stress ball punching bag or something, get it ready for this next case. And probably your tissue box too. Cause it's very, get your tissue box ready. Now I'm gonna tell you I don't know much about it, so we're gonna go as we're gonna be watching it together. It's gonna be a reaction, another reaction. It's gonna be a reaction video. But I wonder if I could find news coverage on it. I'm modded on 3 channels at the same time. Go ahead, Kathy B now. That's why I be trying not to be that's why I try not to be having Kathy B do 1,000 things. Because other people got her doing 1,000 things. So I just say, just hit the thumbs up. I don't even tell her to hit the thumbs up. She just do it. She's so sweet. All right, y'all. We're going to get into this. I don't know why I ain't even eating nothing. I don't know why I'm gassy. We're going to get into this next video. And I'm going to see y'all in 2 minutes. Okay. See y'all in 2 minutes. Thank y'all for joining.